Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu salamu ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Criterion of Action, Mizan al-Amal. And if you are following the Dar Minhaj Arabic edition, we are on page 252. And we have reached the duties of the teacher, and they are 8. And inshallah, we'll attempt to cover 4 of them today, but it depends on, of course, how much explanation we mention as we read the text. The first duty of the teacher is to treat the student as his own child. As the Prophet ﷺ said, I am to you all as a father to his child. إنما أنا لكم مثل الوالد لولده. The student, for his part, should see that he is more greatly indebted to his teacher than he is to his own father. For his teacher is the means to his eternal life, while his father is the means to his ephemeral life. Thus Alexander, when asked whom he honored more, his teacher or his father, he replied, my teacher. And probably this is, we talk about Alexander the Great, the Macedonian, and his teacher was Aristotle, but this is not our issue here. The issue is who is more honorable. To tell you the truth, I found this answer of Alexander problematic from an Islamic perspective. The parents have been mentioned along with the belief in Allah and the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. That you be good to your parents, of course. Being good to the teacher, honoring the teacher is a must. And this has been celebrated throughout Islamic history. But if there is a comparison, then it's the father. I owe my teacher. I respect my teacher. I honor my teacher. I literally make dua for my teacher. But even when we talk about both parents, when the young companion asked the Prophet ﷺ, who is entitled to my best companionship, the Prophet ﷺ answered, your mother. He said, then whom? He said, your mother. He said, then whom? He said, your mother. The 4th time when he asked, the Prophet ﷺ replied, your father. So and our scholar said, this this is an exchange. Your mother, the 3 times. The first in exchange for pregnancy, the second for in exchange for the pain of delivery, and number 3 for nursing, breastfeeding, and rearing the children. And of course, the father does nothing of these 3. Okay. One can go on about the status of parents, but of course, this is not we are comparing two different categories. I would say, just as the sons of a single father must love one another and not hate one another, the same applies to the sons of a single teacher, and indeed to the sons of a single religion. Of course, the meaning should be obvious already. Inasmuch as the children of biological parents should love one another, the children of the teacher, the students, that is, should also love one another. Though this is the ideal situation, that does not preclude the possibility of envy or whatever should be the case. And indeed to the sons of a single religion. إنما المؤمنون أخوة. Indeed, verily, the believers are brothers. Of course, in religion. The scholars are all wayfarers to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, traveling the path to Him. Companionship upon this path demands a strong bond of love, for the brotherhood of virtue is above the brotherhood of birth. Okay. The reason hatred may arise among them is that they seek knowledge for the sake of wealth and prominence, thereby straying from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and from His words, revelation. The believers are but brothers. إنما المؤمنون إخوة. And wandering into the domain of His words, friends on that day will be foes to one another, save for the reverent. الأخلاء يومئذ بعضهم لبعض عدو إلا المتقين. So all these claims of friendship today, is it as friends, do we agree that the aim is to reach, inshallah, paradise in the sense of being accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or are we going to miss that and invite each other to do wrong things, and ultimately this is why we become enemies on the day of judgment? All these claims, the language for just to bring something, since this is mentioned already, the language that the categories that they use, for example, on Facebook, that you are adding friends, add me as a friend. Okay, do you want to add? Do you add such and such as a friend? And Facebook allows you 5,000 friends, and then people will believe that they have 1,500 friends, 3,000 friends, 5,000 friends. That's not possible. Friendship also is a responsibility. When someone came to Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq wanting to become his brother, to his friend, and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq asked him one question. Whether he would in case both of them need the same money and this person has it, would he give it? Would he give the money to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq? Of course, we know very well that Abu Bakr had, Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq had no interest at all in the money of other people. He himself donated uh, all his money, and he was a merchant. But he wanted to verify what kind of friendship, what kind of brotherhood this person wants, and he said no. At least they were true. They wouldn't lie. So what's this friendship that you have thousands of friends? The second duty is that he followed the example of the lawgiver. Of course, we talk about the teacher again, and not ask payment or recompense for sharing knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا. Say, I ask of you no reward for it. The one who seeks wealth and worldly advantages with knowledge is like the one who cleans the soles of his shoes with his face, for he has made a servant out of what ought to be served. Allah created clothing and food to serve the body, and created the body as a vehicle and servant for the soul, and made the soul the servant of knowledge. Thus knowledge is served and does not serve, while wealth serves and is not served. Misguidance means nothing other than to reverse this order. It is truly a marvel to observe how, because of the deterioration that comes naturally with time and the disappearance of scholars of religion over the ages, it has reached the point that the student will conform to his teacher in order to benefit from him, and sit in his lessons hoping that this will result in worldly advantages. This is a gross inversion. The root cause of this is that teachers desire prominence and renown through the amassing of many students due to their deficient knowledge and inability to take joy in the perfection of their own learning, and this causes their students to desire to emulate them. The third duty is that the teacher must not hold back in advising the student and discouraging him from base character traits, both allusively and directly. He must forbid him from pretending to be at a level that he does not yet merit. And I've seen really students adding to their name the name of a specific school, while they are really they are literally in the they're studying. This is their first semester, and already, one of them would be something like so and so the Hanafi, so and so the Maliki, so and so the Shafi'i, so and so the Hanbali, and first semester, and already taking a title, giving himself a title. He must always make him aware of the ultimate purpose of the sciences, which is happiness in the hereafter, not worldly advantages. If he encounters a student who is studying only to seek prominence and lord over other scholars, he should not discourage him from studying, since engaging in the pursuit of knowledge for that goal is better than not studying at all. Should be then. And as he acquires more knowledge, he will eventually become aware of the reality of things and how the one who seeks knowledge for worldly advantages is a dope. The scholars have given voice to this concept by saying we studied knowledge for other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the knowledge refused to be for any but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It has been attributed to Sufyan al-Thawri, this statement. But it seems that Imam Ghazali uses this also to refer to his own story that as children he and his brother Ahmed um, were sent to school because the very little money that their father has left behind was soon uh, spent. So the school was room and board. It was not really if you talk about sincerity, it's not there. Indeed, I would go as far as to say that if people have no desire for studying knowledge for Allah's sake, then the teacher should attract them to the kind of knowledge that leads to prominence by arousing their desire for prominence, so that later he may gradually introduce them to the truth. This is why the science of debate was deemed permitted for matters of jurisprudence, since this motivates those who aspire to eminence to devote themselves to study in the beginning until at last they realize the ignobility of this aim and abandon it for the true straight path. This is how it goes for those youngsters who come to us seeking education for the purpose of attaining prominence. We encourage this desire in them with games of polo, birds, and other amusements. Allah has made the desire to study for the sake of prominence a way of protecting revelation and knowledge. Encouraging students to seek knowledge for the sake of prominence and renown is akin to how grains are spread around the wheat sheaf, or how lure is fastened to a net. Grains are spread around a trap. Okay. Yes. Or how lure is fastened to a net. It is like the appetites of nutrition and sex, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created as instigators for the actions by which the individual and the species are preserved. Were it not for this beneficial aspect of debate, it would not be permitted to tolerate it under any circumstances, for it does not lead to people changing positions or abandoning beliefs. The fourth duty is that the teacher ought to use allusive language when forbidding things that must be forbidden, rather than direct language. This is because allusion is a more effective means of rebuke, and direct rebuke can make the offense seem all the more alluring. Now, Imam Ghazali mentions a hadith that is really, it is not a prophetic tradition, but he says that the Prophet ﷺ said, if people were forbidden to crumble camel dung with their fingers, they would do it and say there must be something to it, or it wouldn't be forbidden. This is demonstrated in the story of Adam and Eve and what they were forbidden. Going back to the hadith, لو نهي الناس عن فت البعر Imam al-Iraqi said that he could not find this hadith as such, except that from the hadith of except from the hadith of Al-Hasan, and it's not marfu, it's mursal, and still it's weak, so it's not a hadith really. Now, in the translation, if people were forbidden to crumble camel dung, in fact, it's any kind of animal dung. Al-Ba'r, maybe this is why the translator thought that it is camel dung, because Al-Ba'r and Al-Ba'ir are pretty much very close to each other. Of course, different, totally different. Al-Ba'r is basically the dung of all animals. That's the Ba'r. Al-Mashi, this is really about Al-Mashi, so goats and sheep. البعرة تدل على البعير والأثر يدل على المسير. So it's a well-known. So also the camels, but not exclusively to the camel. So the word camel is not mentioned here. Now, as for the story of Adam and Eve, it was the story of one tree being forbidden. They were in paradise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a'lam how many plants, how many trees, one particular tree was forbidden. And you know the rest of the story, that Adam and Eve ate from that prohibited tree. And in Genesis, Eve eats first. Then she introduces this Eve and the snake, Satan. She eats first. Then she introduces that prohibited food to Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam, and he eats. So both deserve to be expelled from paradise. But Eve in Genesis, in the Old Testament, in the Judeo-Christian tradition, Eve was still is. She was blamed for the fall, not really from an Islamic perspective. We will never know from the Quranic narrative language who ate first. Both of them were tempted. Both of them succumbed to temptation. Both of them ate. Both of them were expelled. Though the Quran does put more responsibility on the shoulders of Adam alayhi salam, but without saying that he ate first. In Genesis, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to Adam alayhi salam about this sin, he said, the woman that you gave me. So immediately he threw her under the bus. The woman that you gave me. It is said that hinting is often more impactful than speaking frankly. This is because virtuous souls, due to their inclination towards deduction and their awareness of subtleties, incline towards illusions so that they can ascertain their meaning through reflection. Moreover, illusion does not disturb the veil of dignity and awe, while direct expression renders it entirely asunder and makes the student bolder about offending if he is forced to offend again. Inshallah, this is enough for today. We will continue with the tomorrow. Until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.